Grip socks are great, and now they're even better with Pure Grip Socks Pro. Better fit, moisture wicking, amazing comfort, and all the extra grip you need. Choose from 10 different colors for just $16.99 a pair at puregripsocks.com.
2022 is quickly turning into the year of limited edition football boots, where once again we have a special release that is arguably better than anything else currently available in Adidas's own lineup, and honestly, with a subtle modification, this could arguably be a top 3 football boot. Ladies and gentlemen, the limited edition Adidas Predator Edge 94 Plus, a tribute to the OG Adidas Predator that came out back in 1994, with of course some styling from that football boot, but most importantly from a performance perspective, a leather upper, swapping out what is kind of a really rigid prime knit that you get on a regular pair of Predator Edge Pluses. The retail price is $290, so it's only a $15 premium over a regular pair of Edge Pluses, which I think is well worth it given the quality difference. And it's a boot like this that really makes you question why this isn't a normal thing from the 3 stripes. Because honestly, the contrast between a regular pair and this limited edition leather variation could not be more significant. So if you want to learn what the differences are, which modifications they've made, and why I think these are basically 100 times better, we'll go over all the details, including how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around. And if you are by chance interested in a pair for yourself, while they are limited edition and will eventually sell out, they are still readily available, and you can pick them up below their normal retail price by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes by checking out the first link down below. And as always, guys, if you enjoy the brutally honest content on the channel, drop a like on the video and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already so you don't miss out on all my reviews of all the latest football boots of 2022. So first things first, I do want to quickly comment on the looks because of course this is a tribute to the OG 1994 Predator, one of the most important boots in football boot history. And honestly, I think this graphics package looks really good. I love the old school stripes embroidered on the surface. The little detail of kind of the crocodile texturing in the leather part of the upper is quite cool, although admittedly very subtle. And I think that the zone skin rubber elements actually do look a lot like what was found on that OG Predator model. The Adidas logo on the back of the heel is such an old school nod, and I can't say that I'm in love with the design that they've gone for here on the sole plate, but I definitely understand the inspiration and can't be too mad at it. Visually, I don't think these are for everybody, given that they're pretty much just black and white football boots, but I really like the way that they look. However, you're not buying these for looks. You're buying these for the leather upper that replaces the prime knit that you would typically get on a Predator Edge Plus or Edge Point 1 for that matter, and that really is the downfall of the Predator model in 2022. That prime knit material that you expect to feel very soft and sock-like ends up being really rigid, really plasticky, just has way too much structure to it and feels borderline hard against your feet. And for $250, $275 if you're buying a pair of Edge Pluses, that is simply unacceptable. To me, the regular Edge Plus for the money is simply one of the worst values in football boots this year. However, for an extra 15 bucks, while these are still available, of course, you can get it with soft leather instead. And Adidas is not specifying the type of leather that they've used here. I can only assume that if it were kangaroo leather, they would have stressed that in the press release as well as on their own website, but on their website, they simply list it as soft leather, and that it is. It's soft, it's pliable, it feels really good against your feet, and honestly makes for a night and day difference when compared to the regular version of the Edge Plus. The boots are now so much more comfortable, they fit way better. The upper itself actually is able to collapse against the top of your foot, and certainly in the toe box area you can see it has a completely different shape, and it just fits so much closer and moves so much more naturally with your feet. Of course, it does not solve all the issues of the Predator Edge Plus, in that I really don't think that this super shallow laceless system is a good design at all. When you bend your foot, you can definitely feel your heels slide inside of the football boots. The lockdown is less than stellar compared to other laceless boots that we've seen from Adidas in the past, including past models in the Predator lineup. However, from a touch, comfort, and feel perspective, there is absolutely no denying that this soft leather upper feels 100 times better than that really rigid plasticky prime knit material that you get on the standard colorways. Simply focusing on touch, the combination of this super thin, pliable leather as well as the zone skin rubber elements scattered across the entire surface area, that additional grip on the ball in combination with the softness of the leather, for me, is one of my personal favorite experiences of any football boot that I've worn this year. And if this were available in the form of an Edgepoint 1, whether it was the low cut or the mid cut variation, I think having this upper with the additional lockdown that would come from a lacing system would automatically make the 2022 Predator Edge a top 3, if not the very best football boot of 2022. Of course, depending on what you're looking for in terms of personal preference, but for me, based on what I like, this with laces, I think it'd be my favorite boot on the market. Which is so frustrating because it's something that realistically Adidas could put into production tomorrow, but they won't for whatever reason. I would even be willing to pay a little bit of a premium on the $250 retail price, but like I said, they'll never do it. Unfortunately, at this point, I don't think leather Predators are ever going to be a regular thing again. Moving to the rear, you have an internal plastic heel counter, what is basically a mid-cut design with the Edge Plus. The heel lining material is the same soft microfiber material you'd find on a regular pair, and the insole is fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. It features this really soft kind of synthetic suede lining on the surface, and then it's made from a single layer of black foam, pretty much the standard comfort insole we're used to seeing from the Adidas brand for basically the last 10 years. As a base, nothing's changed on this limited edition release. It is the standard Predator Edge split sole design, which still features a sole plate that runs all the way through, but then you have a 4-foot stud plate and a heel stud plate. Nonetheless, the FG stud pattern I actually quite like. It's more aggressive than what we've seen in the last couple generations of Predator, and I really have no issue with it. In general, the sole plate also has a nice solid feel, which I think is fitting for an Adidas Predator model, although it is amazing that when you take this leather upper that's so much more flexible than the usual prime knit, this sole plate ends up feeling a lot more flexible as well. And then you do have the gimmick of the tungsten weight at the tip of the toe, which if you saw the video that I made a couple months ago, if not, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen. They claim that this is there to increase the power of your shot by adding weight strategically at the very front of the football boot. However, I pull this tungsten weight out and actually weigh it, and the results are shocking in terms of what Adidas is claiming versus what you're actually getting. So I would strongly recommend checking that out. Needless to say, I don't think this is increasing the power of your shot in any meaningful way. Nonetheless, as a base, I actually think it's quite solid, and honestly, having tried it with a much softer upper on this leather variation, it actually feels a lot better. Which brings us to the weight, where I think most people would automatically assume that the leather version is going to be heavier than the knitted version, because that's what we've been led to believe by way of football boot marketing. But is that actually reality? Both in the same size 9.5 US. We'll start off with the standard knit version of the Edge Plus, 9.3 ounces, the equivalent of 263 grams. Remember those numbers, change the scale back to ounces, and throw on the leather variation, and you can see that they weigh in at 9.3 ounces, the equivalent of 264 grams. If you were paying attention, that is a weight difference of 1 gram between these two boots, with the leather version technically being 1 gram heavier. Are you actually going to feel that in hand or on feet? Absolutely not. And in terms of the trade-off in comfort as well as quality of fit between these two, I'd take the leather pair 10 out of 10 times. On feet, the difference between these and the standard Edge Plus could not be more significant. The standard prime knit variation is a pair of football boots that I find borderline uncomfortable. It's not that they're unwearable, but when you consider other options out there and try on just about any other football boot, I think you'd be hard pressed to find many people that will say that the Edge Plus fits or feels better. As far as this leather upper variation is concerned, however, it makes such a big difference in terms of the wrapping of your foot. Because the material is thin and pliable, it collapses across the top of your foot. It stretches when pressure is applied rather than kind of maintaining its predetermined shape, and it makes for a much closer wrap around your foot. The boots feel tighter, they feel more secure, and they're certainly more comfortable when you bend your foot. The sole plate ends up feeling more flexible. They just have much more of a natural sensation sensation about them. I think a lot of the question with the regular prime knit variation was whether or not the prime knit upper was too stiff, or perhaps the rubber scattered across the entire upper made the boots stiff. But I think now that we have it here in the leather variation, it's safe to say that it's that prime knit upper that's the issue with the regular Edge Plus. The laceless system, still not the greatest. When I do apply pressure, I can definitely feel my heel slip a little bit, and when it comes to more intense movements, running, sprinting, quick changes of direction, I definitely feel movement in the heel. The lockdown is not their best effort as far as laceless boots go, so that's a little bit of a disappointment. Like I said, I think an Edge Point 1 variation with this leather upper would be a phenomenal pair of football boots, but as they are, I definitely think that they are passable as far as what is accepted in terms of lockdown from a pair of football boots without laces. From a width perspective, they definitely don't feel as wide or have as much volume as the regular prime knit variation of the Edge Plus. So if you do have really, really wide feet, it's not that these won't fit you, but I think you'd have a very difficult time putting them on because of the opening with this mid-cut design. So for most people, I think they'll work as long as you don't have exceptionally wide feet. And then as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you are looking to get a pair, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it absolutely sucks that Adidas is capable of making a leather version of the Predator, but don't actually give it to us, even though it is significantly better than the product that they do make readily available. While it might seem like only a small change, going from a prime knit upper to a leather one makes us a football boot that, instead of me completely avoiding, because I really think the prime knit version of the Predator Edge Plus is pretty shocking for $275, it turns it into a football boot that if I really wanted something with no laces, I would 100% consider these. I think they're really, really good with that super soft leather. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, make this in the form of an Edge Point 1 with a lacing system, and I think you have a top 3 football boot on the market.